what are you doing wrong in the garden? Frank Ferragini has the answer. Right? You're going to help us out. We need help.
Okay, I will tell everyone out there, I have killed plants before.
Oh, it's good to hear that.
That is my confession.
Good.
Each and every year, I probably kill a couple plants.
Get it out. Just let it out.
Have you killed a plant before?
Always.
Right, and we love you for that.
Yes, I kill them a lot.
No, but there are some key things that we can do to make sure that we minimize plant loss, and we do some good selections and have really great gardens. We want you to have a wonderful garden experience. We want to make it as easy as possible. So let's first off, right away you said to me, Frank, what about soil? So first off, you know what, we're going to talk about nature's gold, which is indeed the soil that we grow our plants in. And this right here, as you can see, what's really good about soil, if you want to know if you have a good soil, you take it, you put it in your hand, and you see how that clumps together? Yeah. Like that, but then will break apart as I touch? That shows you a really good quality garden soil. So you want to make sure that when you touch your soil, it'll clump together and it'll break apart. If it clumps together and you can make a cylinder out of it and you can start to mold, that's clay. Right. If it doesn't clump together whatsoever, it's sand. Now this is garden soil. It's a heavier medium that's not meant for containers. So if I was to use a garden soil, this heavy soil, in a container, I'm going to drown the plant out. And that's what people do wrong. They always buy that dollar bag of soil. They then put it in a container, and it doesn't have the ability to dry out. So what happens is it's like you sitting in a tub for 24 hours.
It's too much.
Would you want to sit in a tub for 24 hours?
It's too long.
No.
Turn into a prune.
You turn into a prune, and plants get root rot then. So make sure you're using the right soil and know your soil. That'll really help you out.
Potting soil, then use the potting soil for anything
pots.
in a container.
Yeah,
for pots. Okay.
Now,
we got soil down.
Hydrangeas.
They're so beautiful.
Oh, look at that. Doesn't that make you happy?
Yeah,
Every bride wants that
gorgeous.
hydrangea. You know, this is what's called a hydrangea macrophilia.
Okay.
Just makes me sound cool when I say it. That's
It
the only
does.
reason why I do it. I try to look smart. But
It's working.
With macrophilia, it's a variety of hydrangeas that should be pruned only on the old wood. So basically what happens with this is in the spring when it starts to bloom out and blush out, you want to prune back any dead wood at that time, but leave some of that old wood that's there, and that's what's going to bloom. The Annabella, which is another variety of hydrangea, you cut that right down to the ground. So what I'm trying to say here is a common garden mistake is improper pruning. Right. As a rule of thumb, and I want people to remember this, prune after something blooms, you're never going to fail. Okay. As a rule of thumb. Yeah. And then also know your plants. So does it bloom on old wood or new wood? If it says it blooms on new wood, you cut it to the ground in spring. If it says it blooms on old wood, you leave the growth there. That's the little lesson that's there. Got it. Okay. Now, when people go to the garden center, especially in spring, they go and they say, wow, this is so pretty.
It really is.
Oh my God.
What is that?
This is creeping phlox. And you know, it has a beautiful bloom and it lasts for about a week and then it's done. Oh. And then it looks like hell. Oh. It does.
Know the bloom. You got to figure out the bloom, the bloom period, right?
They got to give you more performance than just a flower. Right. If it doesn't have a long bloom period, what this has to do as well is give me either some foliage interest, maybe give me a fall color.
Yeah, give me something.
Give me something. I want more than 2 weeks. Come on, like I've had better vacation relationships than that. So you want something that's going to perform a little bit better. So make sure when you're selecting plants that they have good garden performance. You want to make sure you're selecting plants as well that suit the light requirements. So for shade, you're doing begonias. For sun, you're doing geraniums. Yes. For part sun, you're doing the sunshine and patience. And if you're looking for something a little bit more drought tolerant, we're using this one here, which is coreopsis. So you want to make sure that as you're selecting, you're doing right. Now watering.
I just want to talk about part sun for a second. Yeah. So if part sun, if it'll say specifically this needs 6 hours of sun or this needs 3 hours of sun, and it's direct sunlight. Is that what it means?
Full sun means direct afternoon sun. So for a geranium, what it wants is the hot sun from 11 o'clock on the afternoon, 6 or more hours. It'll take it, it'll take it. Whereas this guy here, which is a begonia, and some of the Rieger begonias as well, these guys here, they want a nice filtered light. So underneath the tree, as the light's filtering its way through.
As long as it's getting light.
Or a morning sun. Same with the tuberous begonia. Nothing grows in darkness.
Oh, yes. No, I know that.
Now, with watering, I just have a watering can to represent. Deep and frequent waterings. Some people water like this.
That's how my kids water?
Yeah, that's how guys water. We usually have a beer in our hand and do that. Deep and frequent watering, water in the morning. The reason why you're watering in the morning, you're going to reduce disease, reduce insects. So a good deep watering in the morning. Okay. Now, for those that have those baskets that later on in the season that just don't look as vibrant as this, well, the reason for that is every time you water, you're leaching out nutrient, leaching out. So after about 4 or 5 waterings, there's no fertilizer there. So that's when you want to use a fertilizer. And to make the experience a little bit better, if you use something like a shake and feed, which lasts up to 3 months, you put it down and you sprinkle it through the soil, and every time you water, it's going to gradually release. Gradually release. So by using a fertilizer, and there's different ones that are available out there. This, for instance, is for blooming plants, and you can use this in the garden as well. The Miracle Grow Shake and Feed will make it easy. So those are a few tips that'll help you along to have garden glory.
Very nice, because we want you to be successful in the gardens.
Yeah.